Well, if someone doesn't know, then
Right.
they're not held guilty.
Right.
But I mean,
No,
this
but-
is a case where they knew, they were informed.
But isn't that what you just said? It doesn't matter whether you have knowledge or not?
No.
It's a mitzvah. Is it a mitzvah on the person or on the animal?
The malchus would only be if the person was warned.
Oh,
Don't
the
slaughter
warning
them.
knew. Okay.
It would be very easy, once the mother is slaughtered, to sell off all the offspring and say, the mother, by the way, guys, you put a sign up that there's no problem with all of these offspring. The mother was slaughtered last week. Okay, let's see.
I just realized something. Maybe that's why the Ben Pekua doesn't need shchita. That way you never fell into the category of Osovias Beno, because you're not shechting the Ben Pekua.
The mother and child were slaughtered on the same day.
What? But what if the child dies or comes out dead?
You can eat it.
Right, because you never shechted it, because it didn't need shchita. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't fall into the
Right,
Osovias Beno.
right. It's
I don't
interesting.
know.
Amar Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef says Linyan Dina Tanan. Then our Mishnah is actually a monetary discussion. Linyan Dina means like a court, a civil case. That's what we're discussing. It's not a halacha of. It's not a ritual law. Tana was taught in a brisa. It was taught in the Mishnah. No, it's taught in a brisa in the Tosefta. If the second one that purchased it went ahead and slaughtered it, Hariz Zaris Viniskar. Zaris means what's the word they use for Zaris? He's diligent, and he gets the reward. What does it mean he's diligent? Zaris, because he said, I don't want to do the prohibition. Let me quickly slaughter mine. That's why he's diligent. And Viniskar, he gets the reward, the kochel bisra, he gets to have some meat. That day, that's the point, that he can eat it that day. The day that
By the way,
he purchased it.
here they use expeditious.
Expeditious.
Yeah.
And for the zaris,
Someone
for the
else
diligent.
would use alacrity.
Alacrity, right?
Yeah, all these words.
So I can imagine someone that wants to be, he's very frum. If he doesn't slaughter his first, then you never know, the guy might wait till tomorrow also, and then he'll slaughter it tomorrow. How's he going to be sure? He has to quickly rush to slaughter it, so he catches it. That's why he's like the zaris. He's okay. The new Mishnah. Shachat para va'achakach shnei baneha. This is very interesting. He slaughters the mother, but then he slaughters two of the offspring
On the same day.
on the same day. So, Seifik Shmainim gets Malchus twice. He has 80 lashes, 40 each. Well, 39, but it's called 40. Shachat Shnei Banea V'achikach Shachta. Let's say he slaughtered first the two offspring. Then he slaughters the mother. Oh, so that's Seifik Asar. He only gets Malchus once, because the second case was only one action. The second, right? Shachta ve'espita ve'espaspita. Let's say he slaughters the mother, the child, and the grandchild. So Seifik Shmainim. There were two Oisav Espanais there. Shachta ve'espaspita. He slaughtered the mother and the grandchild. Va'achakach shachta bita, and then he slaughters the child. So Seifik Esarbam, you get Malchus once. However, Sumcha saying Mishim Reb Meir, Seifik Shmainim. Sumcha says the name of Reb Meir that you get Malchus twice. That one action actually incurs 2 lashes according to Sumchas.
So there's no such thing as Kamlei Midirabba Minei when it's the same
Right.
punishment, even if it's double the amount.
Right. Now, if you look back, Sumcha says that this prohibition
Just started the new mission on
Again.
the right time.
okay, we'll see in the Gemara how this is going to work out. But when we mentioned Sumchas only in the last case, that when he slaughters the child, what happened is there was a mother
and a granddaughter.
a mother and a granddaughter of cow and a granddaughter cow that were slaughtered, and then he goes ahead and slaughters just the daughter. So the middle one has a prohibition of being the daughter of the mother, and it's also the mother of the granddaughter. So that one action, according to the sages, is only malchus once, and according to Sumchus, you get malchus twice because there were two prohibitions in that one action. So Sumchus holds that you can get two prohibitions from one action. We'll see that it could be he holds that in earlier cases as well in the Mishnah. But we never discussed slaughtering in the opposite order, daughter and then mother. We only discussed mother and daughter. Oisei vespenoi, it and its child, right? So the Gemara asks, Amai, Oisei vespenoi amrachman avlei benoi v'oisei. It doesn't say the child and the mother. It only says mother and child. The Gemara says, don't think like that. It shouldn't enter your mind to say that the Tanya was taught in a brisa. Oisei vespenoi, the brisa quotes the pasuk. The parent and child can't be slaughtered in the same day. Eily I only know parent and child. Child and mother, minayin, how do you know that that's also prohibition? So when it says you shall not shech. Now the word for shechting is shachat, and sishchatu is the plural. You shall not shech. It's a plural. So harikan shnayim. So there's two prohibitions. Now, hakeitzad, how could it be there's two prohibitions? Now, granted, we understand that if you shecht the mother, the child, and the grandchild, then you just did the same prohibition twice. But that you wouldn't need to say leisishchatu. It wouldn't need to be a plural. You did the avera twice. What's the difference? It could have still been a singular. Okay, so how is it that you do the Avera twice where it's not a repeating of the same prohibition? Someone shechs the cow, someone shechs the mother, and then someone shechs the child. Mm-hmm. So in the first case, there was the cow and then the mother. Mm-hmm. So that's benai v'yaisai, it's not oisiv benai. And then the second case, he shechs the child. That's oisiv benai. So shnai machreinim chayavin. The last two would be chayav, and that's why it has a plural. We turn the page. The Gemara says, "Haimi bailei legufei." What are you saying? That word is extra. It has to tell me that you're not allowed to shech. There's no extra words there. You're telling me that leisishchatu is teaching me benai v'yaisai, that the child first is still prohibited, then to shech the mother. That it's not extra. The Gemara says, no, actually it is extra, because imkein lichtav leisishchait. You could have said, you shall not shech. What does it mean? Leisishchatu? You shall not shech in the plural? My leisishchatu. So the Gemara says, vakatimi boile, you still need it. Because rachman leisishchait havamina chad in trei loy. I could have thought that if one person does it, it's prohibited. But if two people shech, it's not a problem. Remember, Dr. Stein, you said that maybe it's only if one person does both. How do you know if one person does the mother, one person does the child? To tell me that that's also prohibited. So it says leisishchatu for two. So kasav rachmana leisishchatu va'afilu trei. The Gemara says imkein lichtaiv leishchatu. Could have said they shall not be slaughtered. My leisishchatu, that you shall not slaughter. Shma min atarti is coming to tell me both halachas. First of all, that it doesn't matter if it's one person slaughtered the mother and the child, and also doesn't matter if the child was slaughtered first and then the mother. Both of them are prohibited. Okay. Shachta, bes baspita. Someone slaughters the mother, then the grandchild, and then one goes back and slaughters the child. So that was a machlekes.
Mother and the grandchild, nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong. It's only mother and child. Amalei Abayel Rav Yosef. Abaya says to Rav Yosef, my time of the Sumchas. Abaya, like the third or fourth generation Babylonian Amira. He's talking to his teacher Rav Yosef. He asks, what's the reason of Sumchas? Simchas is a student of Reb Meir. He's on the other chart. And he was in the Mishnah, he says in the name of Reb Meir, that he get Malchus twice for this one action. So Simchas is down here.
Under Rabbi Meir?
Yeah. Straight down under Reb Meir. He says that you get Malchus twice for shechting the offspring of the mother after the granddaughter was slaughtered. So he says, Kasavar Simchas, it's because, this is Rabbi Yosef responding, Simchas holds, no, actually, this is still Abaya's question. Abaya has a long question. He proposes two possible explanations, and he's asking Rabbi Yosef for which one is it. So he continues, he says, Kasavar Simchas, it's really, is it that Simchas holds, Ochal Shnei Zeh Sichelav Behelam Echad? Let's say someone eats 2 olive sizes of forbidden fat, of chelev, with one forgetting. In other words, he forgets that it's forbidden. And if someone forgets, he has to bring a korban chatas. It's considered a shoygig. He has to bring a korban chatas. So he ate a large portion. He ate 2 olive sizes. So chayiv shtei chatos. The Simchas hold that he's chayiv 2 chatos because he did 2 prohibitions here. Ubedinu d'lishamin and ba'alma. Really? Simchas could have told us this din by someone eating 2 portions of a double portion of chelev. And b'hai de kamash malan baha, in this that Simchas only tells me that you get a double malchus. In our case, where he slaughters one animal, but it happens to be the child of the mother and the mother of the grandchild, he's only telling it to us here because he was trying to tell us that the rabbis hold that you only get malchus once over there. And that's a chiddush that you only get malchus once. The afagav the gufim mechulakim, because even though these are different bodies, is that the term that they use? Different bodies, separate entities. That where I have a mother and a grandchild, and then I shech the child, and nevertheless pachi rabbanon. But really, Simchas would hold much more generally that if there's one sin that's committed, even if it's a double portion of the same sin, you would really get malchus twice for that as well. Not, in other words, Simchas says that I get malchus when I do one action, and I end up committing a sin twice with that one action. But does Simchas hold that if I do one action, a double portion of the same action, that I would also get malchus twice? So why didn't we say that? We said, well, we wanted to say that the rabbis say that even in this case you only get malchus once. That's a bigger chiddush. That's why we mentioned Simchas here. Now, it turns out that in this case there's also a chiddush according to Simchas as well. Because in this case, he did one slaughtering, and that one action violates 2 prohibitions. In the other case, he ate 2 kizesim. Those were 2 actions. I know it was one forgetting. He didn't remember in middle that it was chelev. But nevertheless, there's a chiddush according to Simchas that you get malchus twice for this. The Gemara doesn't mention that chiddush. The Gemara thinks that the chiddush of the Rabbanan in this case is a bigger chiddush, that even though there were separate entities, mother and grandchild, and then the child, those are all separate entities. Or maybe that's not what Simchas holds. Maybe what Simchas really holds is Kasavar Simchas Achal Shnei Zeh Sichelav Behelam Echad Eina Chayav Alachas. If you eat a double portion of chelev, you only get malchus once. It's only in this case where you get malchus twice, because this is separate entities. It's a mother and grandchild. Amar lei, Rabbi Yosef responds, in Kasavar Achal Shnei Zeh Sichelav Behelam Echad Chayav Shtei Chatos. Yes, he actually, Simchas actually holds that you'll be chayav 2 malchus if he eats a double portion of chelev. So Simchas has this general rule that you just the malchus just keeps stacking up on this person, even if it's one action or even if it's 2 actions with one forgetting. It's just the malchus piles up. Mimai, how do we know that Sumchus holds what Rabbi Yosef just claims he holds. So we're not gonna get an answer for this until the very end. This is like a very long looking for Sumchus's opinion. So we're gonna bring a Mishnah and Brisa to try to figure out what's Sumchus's opinion. So it starts like this: Midatanan, from the fact that it was taught, it's supposed to be Midatanya, it's taught in a Brisa. Hazireya kalayim. If someone plants kalayim, a forbidden mixture, like it, he gets malchus. My like it, what does it mean he gets malchus? Usually, it's kalayim is referring to a forbidden mixture in a vineyard. That's the big prohibition of malchus. You're not allowed to plant grain in a vineyard, wheat and barley in a vineyard. Eily malaika achas. If we say he gets malchus once, pshita, that's obvious. He planted in a vineyard, he gets malchus. Void, my kalayim. What does it mean he plants kalayim? Why is there a double expression there? Forbidden mixture. Ela pshita Bais malchus. It must be that he gets malchus twice. Okay, now b'mayaskinan. So what's our case? Eily me b'zeh achar ub'shtei asreis. If he did planted once, and he was warned, don't plant, and then he went and he did it. Then he gets warned again, don't plant, and he plants again. So Tanina, that I was already taught in a Mishnah. It says nazir sheisa yayin kol hayom menachayev alachas. A nazir that's not allowed to drink wine, that drinks wine all day, he's only chayev one. What would it be? One malchus or one carbon? One set of lashes.
This issue with the nazir and the wine could have been used as a proof before you asked if he ate 2 kazayas of failure.
Very good. We're actually, well, let me finish and see. I have to think. Amrulai, but let's say they told him, Al tishta, V'hu said, don't drink. And then he went ahead and drank. Al tishta, don't drink. V'hu and he drinks. So chayav al kolachas v'achas, he's chayav for each one. So I know if he gets malchus twice and he commits the sin, if he gets asra twice, he gets warned twice, and he commits the sin again, he gets another malchus. Ela pshita, it must be that it's bevasa achas or basra achas, that he was warned once, and he does it together. He does two forbidden mixtures with one warning, and he's getting malchus twice. It's money. Who holds this? If you say it's the rabbis that argue on sumchus, you say 1 second. Hashta. When he slaughtered the middle animal, the mother, or the daughter, call it the daughter rather. He slaughters the daughter after he already slaughtered the mother and granddaughter, and over there they say you only get malchus once. Over here for sure you should only get malchus once. He just planted. He planted an extra handful. It was just a larger measurement of planting. You're going to say he's going to get malchus twice. It's one forgetting. Ella lav sumchasi. It must be sumchas. And now we see that sumchas holds that if you do a larger portion, you get malchus twice. It's a little bit confusing here because the cases are so not similar, and we're asking. The sumchas hold that a larger portion gets malchus twice. It's 2 prohibitions in one action. We're assuming, though, that 2 prohibitions in one action is the same as a double prohibition in one action. A repeated prohibition in one. We consider it one action until he remembers that he did something wrong, or until he's warned again. So the one action part is similar.
It's just a larger measurement.
It's a larger measurement. So here we have a proof that Sumchus holds that a larger measurement incurs the double lashes. What's our proof? Well, we said he gets malchus. Obviously, it's not malchus once. What's the chiddush? It must be he gets malchus twice. Okay. The Gemara says, "Lo, it's not a good proof. Lailam Rabbanan. Really, this could be the opinion of the rabbis. And he got warned twice. So he got warned twice. What's the big deal? So why do you have to tell me he gets warned twice? He gets malchus twice. You have to tell me that. He did 2 separate actions. He did the Avera a second time. Milsa Agavorchi Kamashma is coming to teach me a secondary law. Agavorchi. By the way, how do they translate Agavorchi?
In passing.
Let me see if he has it over here. Agavorchi. Incidentally. By the way, it's coming to teach me another rule, by the way. The ikatrei gavni kalayim, that there's two types of kalayim. Malafukim id Rabbi Yoshia. It's coming to exclude what Rabbi Yoshia holds. Now remember we had a machlekes between Rabbi Yonasan and Rabbi Yoshia. If the pasuk doesn't say the word oy, if I say that it means and, or if I say it means or, Rabbi Yoshia says it means and, not or. So when it says that you're not allowed to plant wheat and barley in a vineyard, Rabbi Yoshia says that you're not allowed to plant wheat and barley in a vineyard. Rabbi Yonasan would hold that you're not allowed to plant wheat in a vineyard, and you're not allowed to plant barley in a vineyard, because it means or. Rabbi Yoshia says it means and. So it's coming to tell me that a chiddush here, that you get malchus, lafukim mid Rabbi Yoshia, not like Rabbi Yoshia would say. The Amar Rabbi Yoshia, she is rechita sayin v'chartzim b'mapelis yad, that you have to plant wheat and barley and chartzim, or the grape seeds, with one thrust of the hand. Kamash malan, it's coming to tell me the chizar rechitan v'chartzim, usayin v'chartzim nami machayev, that you can get malchus for each one independently. Wheat and grape seeds and barley and grape seeds get malchus. That's the chiddush of the Rabbanan. We said, what's the chiddush? If he gets warned twice, what's the big deal? Well, it's a big chiddush, because the first time he only planted wheat and grape seeds. He didn't plant wheat and barley. The second time he did the barley and the grape seeds. It's coming to tell me not like Rabbi Yoshia. But I still don't have proof what Sumchus would hold. Okay, now, Avram Nassan, but you mentioned that this should be a proof, because if he drinks wine all day, he's only chayav one. This should be a proof. The problem is that I don't know if that could be the rabbi's opinion, not Sumchus's opinion. It doesn't tell me what Sumchus holds. Sumchus I know is unique because he says I did one action, I get malchus twice. Maybe Sumchus would say over there different, right? So Tashima.
No, my issue was just you could have asked this question there. That's all.
Oh, that would have been too open, because we could have answered it right away. Well, this is the rabbi's. It's not Sumchus's opinion. Tashima, come and listen to another possible proof. Okay, what happened here is that the Gid Hanasha, the sciatic nerve, which is forbidden to eat, is a machlekes if it's in both legs of the animal, or if it's on, not if the prohibition is on both legs, or if it's only on one leg. Rabbi Yehuda holds it's only on one leg, and he says I thinks it's on the right leg. He doesn't know which one, but he thinks it's on the. So, if someone eats a kazayas of the Gid Hanasha on the right and a kazayas of the Gid Hanasha on the left, he did two prohibitions, and he gets malchus twice, according to the rabbis. Rabbi Yehuda says you only get malchus once, because he says it's only in one side. Hey Chidami, what's the case? If you did it one after the other, and there were two separate warnings, my time to Rabbi Yehuda, then why would Rabbi Yehuda say that you get malchus once? You can't get malchus once over there, because Asra Safiki. Rabbi Yehuda doesn't know which one is the correct one. So each one you say, when you warn him, you say, oh, you're about to eat the right leg? That could be a prohibition. We don't know. You might get malchus. That Rabbi Yehuda holds Asra Safik. If you warn him with a maybe, that's not considered a warning. And you can't get malchus. You can't get any malchus. We've been told that Rabbi Yehuda holds that Hasra Safik is not considered Hasra, it's machlekes, if you can warn him with a maybe. The Tanya was taught in a Braisa. Again, we're getting into this other subject, but we're looking for Sumchus's opinion, and we're trying to find it in this this argument about how many malchus he gets when he eats both sides of the Gid Hanasha. So where do we see Rabbi Yehuda holds Hasra Safik is not a Hasra? Well, we bring this case. If a woman gets divorced, now after she's divorced, she's supposed to wait 3 months before she gets married, 91 days, because the child, we want to determine if she does get married right away, it would be confusing to us if she has a child 7 months later. Is this a 7-month pregnancy to the second husband, or is this a 9-month pregnancy to the first husband? So, and then there's many differences. If the relatives of this person, of this offspring, who's this child? Who's the father of this child? There's a difference, and they didn't have the DNA test, and I guess they didn't rely on the bone thing either. So it was taught in the Bais, if the child then goes and hits his first father and then he hits the second father, because the woman got married early, we don't know who's the father. So she violated this. So kila leseh v'chasav v'kila leseh, or he cursed the first one and then he curses the second one. Or he hit them both, with one with his right hand and with his left hand at the same time. He had them like sitting there and he hit them both. The hitting with that causes a bruise. Or he curses them both at the same time. So chayev, he's chayev. Now, how is the person warned? Well, you would have to warn him. Maybe this one's the father, don't do it. Maybe this one's the father, don't do it. If it was one after another. Rabbi Yehuda says you can only be chayev if it was at the same time, because otherwise he would have to be warned. Don't do it. This might be the father. But if it's one after the other, then he's pater. Why? Because hasra safek. It was a doubt. There was a maybe there. So okay. So obviously we know that Rabbi Yehuda holds hasra safek is not good. So going back to the case of the Gidanasha, where he eats a kazayas of this and a kazayas of that, he gets 80, according to the rabbis. According to Rabbi Yehuda, he gets it once. Elapshita bevasachas. It must have been that it was done. He ate them both at the same time. Ubasra achas, and he was warned once. Now, man tanakama. Who was the first opinion that says you get 80? Eily rabbanan de pligiela de sumchas. If you say it's the rabbis that argued on sumchas, that you only get 40 lashes if you shech the daughter after you've slaughtered the mother and granddaughter. So hashtama hasim de guf mechulakim patri rabbanan. Over there, the rabbis where it's separate entities, and nevertheless you only get 40 lashes. Hachale koskin, for sure over here you should only get 40 lashes if you eat a double portion of gidanasha. Elalav, sumchas. It must be sumchas. We have a proof. Sumchas holds a double portion of gid hanasha incurs a double lashes. So we see he holds this by a general. The Gemara says loy. It's not a good proof. Loylam b'zeacher zeh. Really, he ate one gid hanasha and then he ate the other gid hanasha. In v'rabbanan, and it's the opinion of the rabbis. V'hai tana savala ki idach tana de Rabbi Yehuda. Oh, so we had a problem over there. Because if it's one after another, so how would there 40 lashes according to Rabbi Yehuda? Because you would have to be worn separately. And according to Rabbi Yehuda, worn separately would be Asra Safek. We said Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold of Asra Safek. We said actually, we're not sure Rabbi Yehuda's opinion of Asra Safek. In this Mishnah this Mishnah that says Rabbi Yehuda holds you get 40 lashes, even though it was one after another, goes like the other opinion that says Rabbi Yehuda holds Hasra Safek is considered a Hasra. He savalak idach tana de Rabbi Yehuda damar Hasra Safek shmei Hasra. Okay, so we have a machlekes what Rabbi Yehuda holds, and therefore we're able to explain the Mishnah by the Gid Hanasha that it's going according to this other opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. The Tanya was taught in a brisa. By the Korban Pesach, it says leisasir menu ad baiker. Don't leave over the meat of the Korban Pesach until the morning. And if it is left over, nicer, right? It's left over. Has to be burnt. Why is it? What is the pasuk doing by saying this positive command that you need to burn? You need to burn what's left over. Laimar, it's coming to tell me shein like in alav that you don't get malchus. It's called lavanitik lase. It's a prohibition that's a negative prohibition that's attached to a positive prohibition. It has the rectification of it. So therefore you don't get any malchus. It says don't do this, but if you do it, do that. So that's the rectification of it. There's no malchus for a lavanitik lase. Divri Rabbi Yehuda, that's Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. Rabbi Yaakov says, I don't know if Rabbi Yaakov is here. I don't know even who Rabbi Yaakov is. Is it Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov? Rabbi Yaakov says differently. Rabbi Yaakov says, Leimen Hashem useh, Ela mishum dehavale lav shem by ma'aseh. Rabbi Yaakov says, Leimen Hashem useh means that this is not the reason. How do they translate Leimen Hashem useh? This is not for that reason. What is Hashem? What is the language? Does it know? Shame in this expression, this is not for that reason. The word reason is actually the Hebrew word for the name shame. Really. This is because the name of an item is often used to understand its essence. Therefore, the expression, this is not for that reason, means that a certain idea is not the true root or the true reason of the matter. Rabbi Yaakov means that the fact that one does not receive lashes, the leaving of a portion of an offering, is not because a person entails the fulfillment of a mitzvah, rather it's for a different reason. So, Leiman Hashem,
Name.
the name means a reason.
Yeah, name is the essence of a person.
Yeah.
Philosophical.
This is a Hasidic interpretation that he put into the Gemara. He got away with
It's
it.
not philosophical. When Adam named all the animals, it was based on their essences.
Right, but that's the Hasidic explanation.
That's the real answer.
That's the Hasidic explanation. Okay. Ela Mishum, the Havale Lav Shem B'Maisa. Rabbi Yaakov says, no. How does someone leave over meat? He just sits back on his recliner, and he doesn't do anything. It's a Lav Shem B'Maisa. He's reclining. It's Pesach night. And B'chol Lav Shem B'Maisa ain't like an olav. If there's no action, you don't get malchus. You only get malchus for an action. So, what does this tell us? This is a proof that Rabbi Yehuda holds that Hasra Safek is considered a Hasra. Why? Because how did we warn him? We're trying to say he doesn't get malchus for a specific reason. Because it's a labanetic lasted, because he has to burn it afterwards. But how was he even warned? We said don't lean it over, don't leave over the you can't get warned for something that he's not actually doing. Maybe he's going to go ahead and he's going to finish eating it. So before we were saying we don't know if it's prohibited. That was Asra Safek. Now it's Asra Safek. Whenever we're going to warn him, he can always say, it's still night. I still have more time. This is like Ma'ariv, still have more time to do this, right? There's still more time. So it's not, we don't see him doing the action because there is no action. So we see, according to this opinion, according to this Bais rather, that Rabbi Yehuda holds Hasra Safek is considered a Hasra. And he doesn't get malchus for other reasons. Okay. Now we're looking again. Where do we know that Sumchus holds this? So Tashima was taught in a Brisa. Okay. Now the case is slightly different. Here we have two different animals with a Gidanasha, and we're using just the right Gidanasha, and we're assuming that we already know that it's determined that it was the right one. Actually, I should mention, Rashi speaks out and Tosfos speaks out before, that Rabbi Yehuda doesn't know which Gid Hanasha it was. We then determine that Rabbi Yehuda knows it's the right one. But why before didn't we know? Was because what we